What's up, guys, and welcome to my top 10 favorite films of 2015. I'm really excited to give you guys my list. Hopefully, you're going to agree with me, but if you don't, that's totally okay. You can comment in the comment section if you don't agree with me about any of this stuff. But, there were a lot of great films this year, and this is only a list of 10. So I do have some honorable mentions that I would have loved to put in here, but there's just 10 more films that I really enjoyed a little more than these. But I do love all these films. So here are my honorable mentions for the best film of 2015. Ant-Man, Black Mass, The Gift, It Follows, The Martian, Southpaw, and The Walk. I would have loved to put some of those films on my top 10, but like I said, this is only a list of 10. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. My 10th favorite film of 2015 is... This might come to a shock to some of you that this film is even on my list, but I really loved it. I thought it was fun. I picked up the Blu-ray and I watched it several times. I can't stop watching it. I love this film. Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, some people say, oh, it's not as good as the first one. It's not as good as the first one. I didn't like it. It's a bad movie. That's, I think, how people took it. They said, oh, this isn't as good as the first one, so I'm going to say that I don't really like it. But, that's not the case for me. I might have enjoyed Age of Ultron more than the first Avengers film. I just think it's fun. I think it's entertaining. Not that the first one wasn't, but, this year, for this film, for this year, it was everything I needed it to be. It was a great, entertaining action film. And I can't wait to see what happens next in Captain America Civil War. So, moving on to number 9. At number 9, we have a film that came out of nowhere for me. This film came out in February. I was not expecting much from it, but I got more than what I bargained for. And that's Kingsman: The Secret Service. Colin Firth playing a character that you never thought Colin Firth would be playing. You got that great Eggsy character played by Taron Egerton, I think his name is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's his name. Samuel L. Jackson plays the bad guy with the lisp, that he's very believable and very funny. This is just it's a great spy film. I really enjoyed it. So Kingsman is number 9. So moving on to number 8. This is another film for me that came out of nowhere, and I really loved this film, and I just picked it up on Blu-ray a little while ago. It was in my top 10 best Blu-rays of the year, and that is Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. This film, honest to God, I was not even a big Mission Impossible fan going into these movies, and after coming out of the theater, this was a fast-paced, entertaining film. I love seeing Tom Cruise do these movies because he does most of his stunts, and you could tell, and it's phenomenal. The effects, the score, everything about Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation was awesome, and I loved it. At number 7, we have a film by my favorite director of all time, and that's Bridge of Spies. For me, Bridge of Spies was a fantastic Steven Spielberg film. In my review, I said you feel Spielberg. His directing it's present, and you could tell, and it's awesome. Tom Hanks gave a phenomenal performance in this movie. The supporting actor that's getting nominated for all that stuff, that plays the spy, what's his name? I don't know. His name escapes my mind right now, but he was fantastic in the movie. The performances, the score by Thomas Newman, the cinematography, the screenplay by the Coen brothers, everything about this movie. I loved Bridge of Spies, and I can't wait to pick it up on Blu-ray. So at number 6, we have a film that I've just recently seen. I've actually just posted my review for it this morning, and that is Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. I love this film, and I can't, express to you enough how much I love watching Quentin Tarantino's movies, just because the way he writes is so phenomenal, and you get into it, and you love the characters, and you're interested, and you're going along with the story with them. It's fantastic, and I loved The Hateful Eight, and I hope it gets some love at the Oscars, because this is a really good movie, and obviously it's one of my favorites of the year. So, yeah, moving on to number 5. This one might also come as a shock to some of you, but I love this movie. It was so well made. It was so well directed, so well acted, and that is Cinderella. I know, Cinderella. What the hell? No, guys, this movie I absolutely loved. Just the way Kenneth Branagh adapted the story to a live action film was phenomenal. They didn't take too many liberties with it like they did with Maleficent. The acting was fantastic. Lily James is fantastic as Cinderella. Cate Blanchett is phenomenal as Lady Tremaine. I would love her to get nominated for something for Best Supporting Role. She's probably not going to, because the movie's just probably going to be overlooked, except for like the costume design or something. But this is a phenomenal film. Patrick Doyle's score for this movie, some of the best music I've heard all year in a film. And I love it. I love Cinderella, and I watch it quite often. I love watching good films. I don't care what it is. If it's made well, I'm going to enjoy it. And this film was made wonderfully. So yeah, moving on to number 4. At number 4, this film was actually in my top 3 for a long time, but then doing the list, I had to nudge it down to 4, but that's not saying much because I love all these films. And number 4 is Pixar's Inside Out. From the last 5 years, since Toy Story 3, we got Cars 2, Monsters University, Brave, all these movies that they were just kind of dull. Except Monsters University. I did like that one. But Cars 2 and Brave, I was like, what are you doing, Pixar? Pete Docter comes back to direct this film, and it's the best Pixar film since Toy Story 3. And, it's in my top maybe 5 Pixar films of all time. Just the story and the cleverness to it. Everything about Inside Out, I absolutely loved. So, now, guys, now we're in the top 3. It's getting close. It's getting exciting. It's getting sweaty in here. My third favorite film of 2015 is... For me, this film has one of the best lead actor performances of the year, and he's gotten nominated for a few things, and I hope he gets nominated for the Oscar, and that is Steve Jobs. I loved this movie. I don't see it on anybody's top 10 list that I watched anyway, but for me, this film was so entertaining, and it's just talking throughout the whole thing. But Aaron Sorkin's screenplay is phenomenal. Michael Fassbender's phenomenal. Kate Winslet is phenomenal. There we go. The directing by Danny Boyle is phenomenal. The score is phenomenal. Just the story in general made me care about Steve Jobs. And this movie is light years better than the Ashton Kutcher Jobs. So, if you didn't see the film, check it out. It's really good. It's really entertaining, in my opinion. And Jeff Daniels has been getting snubbed for Best Supporting Actor everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's snubbed for the Oscar. But his performance in this movie is phenomenal. Alright guys, now 2 and 1. These two have been flipping back and forth since I first made the list. Which I just made the list yesterday, and these two have been flipping from 2 to 1 to 1 to 2. I love these movies. These are the best films of the year. These are the 2 best films of the year. And honestly, they're about tied for me, but if I had to place them, I would say that the second best film of 2015 is Creed. I absolutely loved Creed. I wasn't a big Rocky fan going into Creed. Now, sure, I've seen the Rocky films and I enjoy them, but going into Creed, I wasn't sure what I was going to get. I left that theater loving the film, loving Ryan Coogler's direction, and I hope to God that Sylvester Stallone gets nominated for the Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars. He did get the Golden Globe nomination. I don't think he got the SAG nomination, but he deserves it because he is phenomenal in this movie. And also, Michael B. Jordan is fantastic. Just all the acting, the screenplay, everything about this movie, and there was no dull moment in it. You cared about everything that was going on. It wasn't just a boxing movie. It was a movie that had something to it. It had meat to it. And I loved eating this film. I loved eating that meat. It just tasted so good. But it didn't taste good as my favorite film of 2015, which is... Guys, you might have been able to predict this, but honestly, I went back and I've seen this movie at least 3 times in the theater, and it gets better every time because there was so much anticipation towards this film, and after seeing it, it was such a relief. And then seeing it the second time, you knew what you were getting, but you loved it even more. And then the third time, you fell in love with the characters even more. And it was a triumphant return to something that I loved as a child, and I love to this day. And that is Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. This film, it's not just a great Star Wars film. It is a great film in general, with wonderful characters. I think Rey, played by Daisy Ridley, is the best, female hero of the entire year. I loved her character, and I loved that backstory. And Finn, played by John Boyega, Poe Dameron, Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver. He is the best villain of the year. I don't care what anybody says. To me, Kylo Ren is the best villain of the year because he's not just a villain, he has something to him, and he has an actual story arc, and there's something going on with that character. And from the returning cast, Harrison Ford is phenomenal in this film. Carrie Fisher, I didn't mind her performance. And the other guy that I'm not going to say anything about because I didn't do my spoiler review yet. But yeah, guys, John Williams' score for this movie. After listening to it a few times, I do own the soundtrack, and it's beautiful music. Rey's theme is phenomenal. Just the last track of the CD and the last music of the film is brilliant, and I love how John Williams combines the old themes with the new. It's phenomenal. So yeah, guys, that wraps up my list of my top 10 favorite films of 2015. Comment in the comment section. Do you agree with me about any of this? What's your top 10 favorite films of 2015? Comment in the comment section and let me know. Also, guys, you can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. The links to those are in the description of this video. Tomorrow night, I'll be posting my top 10 least favorite films of 2015. So, I'll be excited to give you guys that. And that's my last video. That'll be my last video of the year. And guys, thank you for sticking with me. I've loved every second of it, and I can't wait until next year to hopefully get some great movies and not many bad ones. But what happens, happens. So yeah, guys, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you subscribe. Over and out.